host the Springfield Cardinals, a St. Louis Cardinal affiliate. Now let's go to Simmons Field in Kenosha for tonight's telecast.
Jones Intercable presents Kenosha Twins Baseball 1987. Kenosha Twins Baseball is being brought to you by the Nike Outlet Store, the official shoe of the Kenosha Twins. By Mauer Garden and Floral, Kenosha's plant and lawnmower headquarters. By Paulman Motors, the pride is back in Kenosha. By Vallejo's Pizza, Kenosha's #1 choice for pizza. By Johnston's True Value Hardware. No one has mowers like Johnston's, period. By Stanlock Buick, where better really matters. By Herbert's Jewelers, for selection, service, and price, Herbert's is for you. By Hubbard Investments, where actions speak louder than words. By the A1 Driving School, the right choice, where learning to drive is easy and enjoyable. And by SJ's, men, young men, and big men apparel, located in Pershing Plaza.
From Simmons Stadium in Kenosha, Wisconsin, we'd like to welcome all of our viewers watching nationwide on Sunday Night Baseball on Tempo Television. How do you do, everybody? Along with Bob Lee, I'm Chuck Purse. Glad you can be with us. The Springfield Cardinals and the Kenosha Twins from the Midwest League is the game this week. The Springfield Cardinals atop the Southern Division. Their record 35-18, and they are hot. They have won 8 of their last 12, and they have a 6.5 game lead over the Peoria Chiefs, a farm team of the Chicago Cubs. The Springfield Cardinals, of course, of the St. Louis Cardinals. And the home Kenosha Twins, a farm team of the Minnesota Twins, 25-25, and they trail first place Appleton by a game and a half. And quite frankly, the Twins right now are riding the crest of a slump. They have lost 11 of their last 13, 7 in a row, and at one point, just 13 games ago, had been 4 games in front in the Northern Division of the Midwest League. But if you're going to lose 11 out of 13 and 7 in a row and be only a game and a half behind, perhaps that is a bright spot for the Kenosha Twins. Well, we talked on the pregame show with Dwight Bernard, the pitching coach of the Kenosha Twins, about something that's been taking place in baseball this year that is a bit controversial, and that is the balk. As you know, some of you, the National League has been saying one thing, the American League another thing, the minor leagues perhaps something else. So we talked with Dwight Bernard about that, and let's see what he had to say.
Chuck Purse down on the field with our pregame show. And our guest is Dwight Bernard, the pitching coach of the Kenosha Twins. And if we're going to talk pitching, who better to talk with than an ex-major league pitcher and now a pitching coach? Dwight, what I want to talk about is the balk in 1987. And I say 1987 because it seems this year there's more controversy about the balk than there has been in a long time. The National League says one thing, the American League maybe says another. And here in the minor leagues, there seems to be inconsistencies. What makes up a balk?
Well, I think probably one of the first thing is it's a difference of opinion. One guy thinks one thing and another guy thinks another. And we have had it called different ways on us. One guy does one thing one way and gets by with it. And then the next game seems like we have a different set of umpires and they call the difference. You know, so that's something that's just, it's an opinion, you know, more so than just a set thing.
Okay, now let's take you into a stretch. You're a pitcher. What may you do and what may you not do when you're in your stretch?
Okay, after a pitcher has addressed the hitter, he's going to come set, he'll get his sign, he'll come set, he'll come to the set motion. He's got to definitely move his leg and his hands. He'll come set here, and any movement he makes with his hands, legs, knees, constitutes a balk.
Even if it starts his pitching motion?
If it starts his pitching motion, he can do any of it.
Okay.
As long as it starts his motion, anything that deceives the runner.
So he can't have any false motion is what we're saying?
No, he cannot. He cannot be here and maybe give a jump of the arm, elbow, the head. You can move, do anything you want. You turn the shoulder, is a balk.
What about stepping off the rubber as far as faking to first, faking to second, faking to third?
You can step off the rubber with your pivot foot. Your right foot as a right-handed pitcher, your left foot as a left-handed pitcher. You step directly back, you can turn, do whatever you want to do. There's no balk.
Okay, if the rule is that clear, why the controversy?
Well, the controversy basically comes, Chuck, is say if a guy has a ball in his glove here,
okay,
and he starts right here, he has his hand here, and he comes directly here. The umpire, some umpires feel like the runner is being deceived, and that would be called a balk.
Okay. Now, let's change the subject and talk about a particular pitch.
Tonight for Springfield, a fellow by the name of Mangum is going to be throwing, and Mangum throws about 90% knuckleballs. What's the secret of the knuckleball?
A knuckleball is a pitch that guys throw that can't usually throw the ball very hard, and it's a pitch that not every pitcher can throw. It's one in, I don't know what the stats are on it, but it's one in a many, say 1,000 or so. And like in the major leagues right now, I think there's 2 or 3 guys. Candiati, I think, for Cleveland, the Necros, and possibly 1 or 2 more that I don't know for sure that do. But it's just a tough pitch to control, and it's a tough pitch to throw.
For the most part, how is it held?
Most of the time, guys will dig their fingernails into the ball, they'll throw it here, and they'll push the ball out of their hand.
Going up with no spin?
No spin. The ball just, it floats. You can almost read the insignia on it, whoever it's made by or whatever. But a lot of guys will try to throw the knuckleball actually with the knuckles, with 2 knuckles. Some guys will throw it 3. So it just depends on how the guy's either taught or whatever he comes up with himself.
Okay, that's the Springfield pitcher. Cota for the Twins. Tell us about him.
Timmy Cota is a curveball pitcher. He's got a great curveball. It's a big curveball. He's not going to blow hitters away, but he's going to have to throw his fastball to keep him from looking for his curveball all the time. Just keep him honest, and he's coming around pretty good with a changeup. So Timmy, he's a battler, and he'll go right after guys.
Good luck tonight.
Thank you, Chuck.
All right, that's the pregame show. We'll be going up to the booth for the starting lineups right after these words. Miss Kenosha, Karen Wexler, 1987 Miss Kenosha, singing the national anthem. Well, let's take a look at the batting order for the Springfield Cardinals. As we say, they're 35-18. Leading off for the Cardinals and playing center field is Vince Kindred. He bats .280. Then Tom Bain in right field, batting .326. Scott Melvin at third base, bats .347. Some hitters so far for the Cardinals, aren't there? Then Todd Zeal, the designated hitter, batting .312. Ron Johns at first base, bats .266. Scott Raziano in left field, bats .250. Bien Figueroa, it's B-I-E-N, pronounced Bien Figueroa, batting .270. Alex Ojea at second base, .294. And playing just his 4th game for the Springfield Cardinals, the catcher, John Murphy, batting .143. The defensive alignment for the Kenosha Twins looks like this as they're taking the field right now, getting ready for the top of the first. Over at first base is Bob Pinkey. The second baseman is Jarvis Brown. Scott Leas is at shortstop. Edgar Nevada over at third base. Around the outfield from left to right, Mike Randall, David Jackus, and Rafael De Lima. Derek Parks is doing the catching, and we'll want to talk about Derek Parks as this ball game goes along. And a last-minute substitution, Dana Heinley is doing the pitching for the Kenosha Twins. We had been given that Tim Cota was going to be doing the pitching, and as you know, we talked with Dwight Bernard about Tim Cota during the pregame show, and as we were at the commercial break during the national anthem, it was told to us that Dana Heinley is going to be doing the pitching for the Kenosha Twins. So there you see the Springfield Cardinals. They're on the first base side, and the Kenosha Twins along the third base side. And let's take a little bit of a look of where we are geographically for those of you who are watching around the nation on Sunday Night Baseball on Tempo Television. We are in southeast Wisconsin, in Kenosha, Wisconsin, and the field runs, at least the third baseline runs north and south. If you'd go from home plate 30 miles north down that line over the left field wall, you'd wind up in downtown Milwaukee, Wisconsin. If you went behind the first base dugout and continued 60 miles to the south, you'd be in Chicago. And if you took the first base line out to right field and went over the right field wall for 7 blocks, why, you'd be wet, because beyond that wall, 7 blocks, Lake Michigan. And they're warming up in the Springfield Cardinal bullpen. Their knuckleball pitcher, Mark Mangum. Well, what can we tell you about number 55, Dana Hindley? Coming into the ball game, he has 2 wins and 4 losses. He's pitched 34 2/3 innings. He's given up 45 hits in that time, struck out and walked the same number, 16 and 16. This is his 6th start. He's completed 1, and he has an earned run average of 4.93. So Dana Hindley, a late-minute starter for the Kenosha Twins. I'd like to find out why Tim Cota had been scratched. Chuck Purse and Bob Lee with you from Simmons Stadium in Kenosha, Wisconsin. And Bob Lee will be joining us, in a little while. And the reason that he's a little bit late coming up to the booth, in addition to being my broadcast partner on these telecasts, why, he is also the president and general manager of the Kenosha Twins franchise. So as we go along through the ball game, I'll be able to talk with Bob about certain instances in minor league baseball and his experiences in same, and also as far as running a team goes. Bob Lee, in fact, there he is in the red sweater with his back to us. One of the jobs of a president and general manager, of course, is to keep the fans happy, keep them coming into the park, and when they're here, why, you got to give them the glad hand. So he'll be coming up in just a little while. Dana Hindley is finishing up his warm-up pitches, and I'm thinking that there's a possibility that he might be getting a little extra time because of that late-minute substitution that he had been given. And let's take a look at some of the other upcoming ball games that you'll be able to see on Tempo Television in the next few weeks. On Sunday, June 14th, it's going to be the Savannah Cardinals at the Macon Pirates. That's a Class A ball game of the South Atlanta League. On Sunday, June 21st, it's the New Britain Red Sox against the Vermont Reds from AA in the Eastern League. And on Sunday, June 28th, the Jacksonville Expos against the Knoxville Blue Jays, again, AA ball, the Southern League. So here we are getting ready to go in the top of inning number 1 for the Springfield Cardinals, Vince Kindred, Tom Bain, and Scott Melvin, as we're ready to go live from Kenosha, Wisconsin. And glad you can be with us, all of you watching nationwide on Tempo Television, the first pitch for the strike. And we're underway. Dana Hindley on the mound for the Kenosha Twins. Vince Kindred, a .280 batting average. In the dirt on the second one, and we're level at a ball and a strike. Temperature at game time, 62 degrees. It is clear as a bell here in Kenosha, and you saw the flag on the national anthem blowing in slightly from the east, but nothing to really worry about. Sometimes it can get quite cold here in Simmons Stadium, where we are so close to Lake Michigan, when a front will come through and the wind will blow in from the northeast off of the lake over the center field wall toward home plate over our back as we're looking at this shot. I'll tell you what, we are getting some cold weather at times. We have seen it drop as many as 15 and 20 degrees during the course of a ball game. Well, we're at 2-2 here in the top of the first. Vince Kindred, the .280 batting average, 23 runs batted in, 4 home runs, and 12 doubles. He has not hit a triple yet this year, and Hindley is at 3-2 with him on the first batter. Kindred will be followed by Tom Bain and Scott Melvin. Springfield Cardinals 35-18. They lead the Southern Division by 6.5. The Kenosha Twins 500 at 25-25. Swing and a miss. Got him. So Kindred goes down on strikes. The first strikeout racked up by Dana Hindley. And this will bring up Tom Bain. Bain, a .326 batting average. 23 runs batted in, has not hit a home run yet. 14 doubles, though, for Bain. So when he gets aboard, he knows how to run. And Bob, I just saw you down on television and talking about the duties and the glad handing that a general manager has to do. And like Superman, you sneaked up the stairs, and here you are in the booth.
Yeah, good to be with you, Chuck. It's always fun getting the game started. I'm sure as other general managers know.
Sounds like you're breathing kind of heavy.
Yeah, just a little bit. I didn't even know. I see Dana Heinley's pitching here. What happened to Tim Cota?
All we know is that he was a last-minute scratch. Quite frankly, we were not told what the situation was. We're going to try to find out for the viewers.
I'll be darned.
No ball, 1 strike count on Tom Bain. We're in the top of the first. No score. Swing and a miss, 0-2.
Well, it's a beautiful night for baseball, Chuck. That's for sure.
I was just telling the fans around the country that there are times at this stadium that we can drop as many as 15 and 20 degrees in the course of a ball game. There's a foul ball down the right field line into the grandstand behind the Springfield Cardinals dugout.
Yes, we've been there. It's always fun. But we make it, though. Every year we go through that April and May, and we survive. The kids call it the zone in April and May, but after that, it's great.
No ball, 2-strike count with 1 down in the top of the first. Again, foul ball. Ooh, watch out in the beer garden.
The Springfield Cardinals, our Peoria Chiefs, have been wearing us out. I'll tell you, this 7-game losing streak has been hard on our young guys. I'll tell you, it's pretty tough. So hopefully we'll turn it around tonight and see what happens.
Tom Bain, the right fielder for the Springfield Cardinals. Dana Heinley on the mound, 6'3", 100, or make that 6'5", 200-pounder. Ground ball on the right side. Jarvis Brown, the pickup, the throw. Nice stretch at first base by Bob Tinkey for the out. So that's 2 down in the top of the first. It'll bring up Scott Melvin. Jarvis Brown going hard to his left, making the pickup, then turning and throwing to first base to get Bain. It'll bring up Melvin with 2 down. Melvin, a .347 batting average, as you see Brown going back to his position.
Midwest League Baseball, Chuck. It's great, I tell you.
Scott Melvin, 7 home runs with that .347 average and 30 runs batted in for the season. Swing and a foul tip on the first one. Heinley, his first year in A-ball. Last year was in Elizabethton for the Twins. He had a 2-0 record there with a 4.7 ERA.
Dana took a little something off of that pitch. Terry Parks, for sure, has been improving on his catching, too, Chuck. He's, thinking right along with those pitchers right now, and he's coming a long way, too, defensively.
1-1, a little bit inside, 2-1. 2 outs, bottom of the first. No score, just underway from Simmons Stadium in Kenosha, Wisconsin. The Springfield Cardinals and the Kenosha Twins from the Midwest League. One hopper, makes it a 2-hopper, got caught on the short hop, picking up, throwing to first, and getting him for out number 3. So Jarvis Brown recovering after knocking that one down, firing over to first to get Melvin for the 3rd out. And in the inning, no runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left on base. For the Twins in the bottom of inning number 1, their batting order is going to be looking like this. Let's run down their starting 9. Mike Randall, the left fielder, will be leading it off. He bats .322. Then Rafael De Lima, the right fielder, batting .329. But against the Cardinals this year, he's batting .533 in spite of going 0 for 4 last night. Derek Parks, the catcher, batting .271, but he's a home run hitter for the Twins. We'll be talking about that as the game goes on. Bob Tinkey at first base, batting .257. Chris Borgione is the designated hitter, batting .227. Then Edgar Naveda at third base, batting .259. David Jackus patrols center field, and he bats .295. Scott Leas at short, batting .225. And Jarvis Brown, who was involved in 2 of those plays in the first inning at second base, bats .194. The Springfield Cardinals set up in the field this way defensively, as Mangum is taking his warm-up tosses to catcher John Murphy. Oh, there's some fans just having a very comfortable time here at Simmons Field. Bottom of the first, no score, and get a chance to look at the Springfield defensive alignment. Ron Johns over at first base. Alex Ojea is at second. At third base is Scott Melvin. Bien Figueroa is at shortstop. The outfield, Scott Raziano, Vince Kindred, and Tom Bain. John Murphy, as we say, doing the catching, just playing his 4th game for the Cardinals. And on the hill, Mark Mangum. And Bob, Mark Mangum throws about 90% knuckleball. So it's going to be interesting to see Mangum tonight and see what the Twins can do against this knuckleballer. Yeah. And leading off for Kenosha, the left fielder, number 9, Mike Randall, batting .322.
It will be something because we've got a lot of, in fact, 46 home runs through the end of May, which is more than we had all last year, so we must have some fastball hitters here, so it'll be interesting.
First pitch a little bit outside for the ball, 1-0.
This young man is a good ball player. He gets on base. Every time I look up, he's on base. Fine prospect.
Missing inside, 2-0.
A man of few words, too, Chuck. He's kind of a quiet, low-key guy, but defensively and offensively, he lets his bat and his play do his talking. He's a fine young man.
High and outside, 3-0. So Mangum falling behind Randall. Mangum, 6'3", 185 pounds. 24 years old. He'll be 25 in November, from Shreveport, Louisiana. He was originally with the Astros, Mangum. In fact, he spent 3 years with the Astros, now catching the old automatic 3-1. Had been a starter and then went to the relief roles back in 1985. In fact, and this is kind of interesting. We'll want to talk about this a little bit later on. High hopper in the infield. Randall with speed, beating it out. So Randall getting the first base hit of the ball game. A high hopper over the head of Mangum. He beats it out, and he'll be on first base with a single.
Chuck, that's baseball. Mike hustled down that bag, didn't give up on it in areas with a base hit. And that's what it takes right there. That's why he's such a good ball player.
Rafael De Lima, the right fielder for the Kenosha Twins, is next. Remember, I had mentioned that he, this season, is batting .533 against the Cardinals, and last night went 0 for 4 in that ball game.
Here's another guy. Hope will stay here. He's hitting. Here's another one. He's having a fine year. He started out with us last year and just couldn't quite cut it. Went to the rookie league, and here he is back now, hitting at .329 currently.
Inside corner for the strike.
And a good defensive outfielder, Chuck, as you well know. He's really got a good arm, left-hander, and covers that out right field position just terrific.
Randall over at first base, as Mangum had tossed over there once. We're in the first. No ball, 1 strike down in the pitch. In the air to short center field. Vince Kindred digging. He makes the grab out number 1. Going back to first base is Randall.
Ralphie got a little bit in front of that pitch, and that's what happened.
Kindred goes back to his patrol in center field. It will bring up Derek Parks, the catcher for the Kenosha Twins. Over on first base, Randall. And when Parks steps in, boy, I want to talk about a power hitter in Derek Parks. He had one stretch earlier this year where he had 4 home runs in 3 ball games, including a grand slam. He has 13 home runs now, which is tied for the league lead. On his way to second base, the throw, he's in there. So Randall stealing the base for Randall. That's steal number 19. He's been caught just a half a dozen times.
Yeah, Mike's a ball player. He's a hustler. You like to have him on your ball club. And getting back to Derek Parks, fine prospect for the Minnesota Twins.
He was the Twins' #1 draft choice last June and played last year in the rookie league in Elizabethton. You see his numbers this season. He was drafted out of high school. Ball getting away behind the plate, but Randall no go to third.
You know, that's how Bob Uecker got to the big leagues, catching knuckleballs.
Yeah, right.
And then he started his pass ball school, and, and then it was just one thing after another. Good old Bob, my old roommate in the minor leagues. What a guy, Mr. Baseball.
Mr. Baseball.
I just wonder how many old-timers are listening to Bob Lee here. I play ball in the minor leagues on this sportscast tonight. If they are, I'd like to say hello to everybody. Milwaukee Braves, 1955 through 59 in the minor leagues. I never got to the big leagues. Uecker did, that's why.
That pitch catching the plate for the strike, 2-1. Getting back to Derek Parks, last year 52 hits in rookie league. 21 of those for extra bases, 10 doubles, a triple, and 10 home runs. And you know what he did? He turned 18 last September. He did all of that as just a 17-year-old kid just out of high school. So this kid has pop in his bat, no question. Getting back to Mangum, what I was starting to talk about before, he had gone from the relief roles, or from the starting roles, as to a relief pitcher in 1985. and had one start in 85. And as a fellow who's used to just going short distances, he completed that start. Now, to me, that's a little bit surprising.
Yes, it is, Chuck. You betcha. Of course, if he's under that, if he was throwing the knuckleball at that time and getting it over, and these guys get awfully anxious on that. Just as Derek pulled that ball right there, his eyes got as big as saucers. It's that slow pitch, and he'll get to these power hitters. They just want to crunch it.
But what'll it do for your arm? Probably nothing. You see the knuckleballers, Hoyt Wilhelm and Necro and so on, they can go on almost as old as you are.
That's Hey, Phil Necro's my age. I was in the minor league with Phil.
2-2 with one out. Don Leppert in the coach's box making the one-handed grab and the throw. Now there's a fella you can talk about, Don Leppert.
That's right. Caught my first game in pro ball. I'll tell you, what a guy. He does a fine job with the Kenosha Twins, Don does. He's a hard worker. He's got these guys out here early in the afternoon and working with them on defense and batting practice, things like that. He's a good manager to have for these young men.
Count level at 2-2 with one out. Parks ground ball to third, freezing Randall at second base across the infield, 2 down. Scott Melvin with the pickup, looking Randall back to second base, firing across to Johns, and Parks is retired with the second out. It'll bring up Bob Tinkey. Bob Tinkey, first baseman tonight for the Kenosha Twins, sometimes designated hitter.
Bob's got some pop in his bat too, Chuck. We know that. I know these guys really want to tie into that knuckleball.
Outside corner for the strike. Umpires in tonight's ball game, as you're looking at this picture. On the bases is Ray Leibel and Rich Patterson calling the balls and strikes. There you see the two umpires.
Good center field shot.
No ball, 1 strike count. Swing, foul ball again to Leppert in the coach's box. So he'll be getting his workout over there.
He will, because these guys are out in front of him, and they just haven't got the patience just to hold back and wait on it. Awful tantalizing when that thing comes up there.
Mangum on the hill. He has 2 outs in the first with Randall on second base.
A lot of young kids ask, why maybe I should learn the knuckleball. Maybe I should just, get into that right away. But it's a tough pitch to master, and it's a tough pitch to get over the plate where you want it.
Ground ball again to third. Melvin got him for the 3rd out of the inning. So after the single by Randall, Mike Randall dies on base, and in the inning, no runs, 1 hit, no errors, and 1 left on base. At the end of 1 complete inning of play, we're scoreless. You're watching Kenosha Twins baseball on Jones Intercable and Tempo Television. Inning number... The top of inning number 2. This is, what is it, the Drug Awareness Night, Bob. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, it's sponsored by Western Kiwanis of Kenosha and all the groups in the community that are helping people overcome addictions to any and all alcohol and drug problems. And it's kind of an awareness, and it's a real good community project put on by the Western Kiwanis and the Kenosha Twins. And it's a lot of fun. This is our 2nd annual, and Western Kiwanis can be proud of what they're doing, bringing people together like this and having a lot of fun. You saw the Sin City Riders over there, and it wasn't our top draft pick, but he's coming later.
Todd Zeal, Ron Johns, and Scott Raziano, the first 3 in the top of inning number 2 for the Springfield Cardinals. Scoreless after 1. .312 batting average for Zeal. 13 home runs. He and Derek Parks are tied for the lead in the Midwest League with those 13 round trippers, and 46 runs batted in for Zeal makes him the top RBI man in the league. Parks in 3rd place with 41 runs batted in. 1-1 pitch. Little bit low, 2-1. Zeal 6'1", 190 from Valencia, California. Played for Erie with the Cardinals last year, where he hit 14 home runs in 70 ball games. That's not all bad.
No, it isn't, Chuck. That's a good season.
3-1 as that one missed. He had a .258 batting average. Led the league, the New York Penn League, with 63 runs batted in. 2nd in home runs with those 14, I'll tell you. And he had, of those 14 home runs, 3 of them were Grand Slam jobs. Now draws the walk. So certainly working with respect to Zeal, who's on first with the base on balls. The first walk given up by Dana Heinlein.
He'd have been went over real well here in Kenosha with them Grand Slam home runs, Chuck. Everybody in the stands getting a whopper. Holy cow.
Now Ron Johns Johns with a runner on first. And Heinley will have to work out of the stretch. Ground ball to Nevada. Second, Brown. First, double play. 5-4-3 double play. Quickly 2 down, and Bob, the old pitcher that you are, that's the one that you called a pitcher spread.
Oh, you better believe it. Cuts down on a few pitches, and also it gets you out of a jam, picks up the ball club too. They kind of, you know, lifts them up again, and you get right back in the game, and mental attitude is there right now. It's a big help to pitchers.
Zeal and Johns down quickly, and it brings up Scott Raziano. Michael Scott Raziano goes by Scott, 5'10", 180.
You got to keep the ball on the ground for those double plays, and I couldn't do that, Chuck. Usually they went out.
First pitch, inside corner of the strike.
Bain is a big guy. I'll tell you, he's a nice kid, too. He's another quiet young man. He just gets the job done.
High hopper to short. Leas on the second hop, quickly to throw to first, quickly 3 down. So the first 2 retired on the double play, and then the high hopper to Leas at short. And for the second consecutive inning, no runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left aboard for the Springfield Cardinals. At the end of 1 1/2, we're scoreless. You're watching Kenosha Twins baseball on Jones Intercable and Tempo Television. In the bottom of the second for the Kenosha Twins, Chris Forgione, the designated hitter, then Edgar Nevada, one of the popular Kenosha Twins, and David Jackus. Forgione, Nevada, and Jackus. As we're scoreless going into the bottom of inning number 2, Chuck Purse and Bob Lee with you from Simmons Stadium in Kenosha. .227 batting average with 5 home runs for Forgione. First pitch, the knuckleball, the strike, and that almost looked like a slow curve dancing up there, Bob.
You know, it's amazing. When you sit here and look at it, you think, wow, now that baby should be out of here, but it's tough.
Forgione, 5'10", 180 from Wilmington, Delaware.
You just want to jump on it, but you can't do it.
Been in the Twins organization since 1983. Swing and a miss, 1 and 2. Played in the Appalachian League in 83. Was here in Kenosha in 84. Then in Visalia, the other Class A team for the Twins in 85 and 86, and returning to Kenosha here in 1987. 1 ball, 2 strike count. Inside 2 and 2.
My good friend Ray Barris, former pitching coach of the White Sox, in the stands with us tonight. Ray's still going strong, fans. I'll tell you, he looks great. For those that know Ray, he still loves his pitching.
In the air, short center field. Kindred dropping in front of Kindred for the base hit. So for the second consecutive inning, the Kenosha Twins get the leadoff batter aboard. Last time it was Randall. A fly ball and 2 ground balls to third stopped Randall's progress at second base. Now with Forgione at first, it brings up Edgar Nevada, the third baseman. Nevada in his second year with the Kenosha squad. Last year batted .223 and make that .233 in 109 ball games. This year batting .259, 5 home runs and 29 runs batted in. Last year just 2 home runs in the whole season, so put on a little power over the winter.
Yeah, he's got a 2 home run game against the Madison Muskies up in Madison too, so Eddie's having himself a pretty good year, and he's a good defensive ball player, and the first guy on the field and the first guy off, a real hustler.
Again, the throw over to first base, and from that angle you could see where the sun is coming. Right field is definitely the sun field here. That ball high in the air in the infield, now in foul territory, drifting to the left of third base. Melvin going over, making the grab out number 1. So with Forgione still on first base, Nevada pops out in foul territory to Scott Melvin, and this will bring up David Jackus, the center fielder. There on first base is Forgione. He led off the bottom of the second with that single to short center field, just as Randall led off the first.
Here's a guy that can motor down that baseline. If he gets it on the ground, you got to get the ball and get him out in a hurry.
He has speed, Jackus.
Yes, he does. You know, it's amazing. Last night, well, Chris, you know, he's hit some ropes all year. His batting average doesn't show up, but here tonight against a knuckleballer, he hits and gets a base hit, and off other pitches hits line drives, and they don't fall in. It's amazing how baseball is. I love the game.
Fouls that one back in the screen, 0-2. .295 batting average for Jackus. 11 RBI, 2 home runs. He's the kind of guy that you're talking about his speed. His home runs could always be inside the park jobs, the way he can run down that line.
Get it down and get it in the alley. He can motor.
No ball, 2-strike pitch, swing and miss. Strike 3. The runner, the first base occupied over there, so he can't go. So that's the first strikeout for Mangum. He has yet to walk anybody. And we'll bring up Scott Lee as now 2 outs in the second inning. Remember, as we said before, both innings, the Twins had the leadoff batter aboard. This time it's Forgione, and you see him still at first base. Throw over to first. See the way that sun comes from behind this camera angle?
It's rough out there in right field. And, well, the whole right side of the infield. It's really tough right this time of night.
First pitch, the knuckleball gets away on the swinging strike, and Forgione will be down to second.
You know, there's a spot where you get a catcher handling a knuckleball pitcher, and you get a guy on third base, and you see what happened right there. You know, it's just tough to handle that ball, and when that man is on third base, that catcher has really got to be a little uptight. A tough position for a catcher, these knuckleball pitchers.
No ball, 1-strike pitch, line drive, just foul down the left field line. Foul by 17 3/4 inches.
A large donut.
Yes. Very large donut out there.
Just missed it.
0-2 with 2 down in the bottom of inning number 2. Forgione on second base with 2 outs. And the pitch. High for the ball, 1-2. Springfield had a base runner on to lead off the top of the second as Zeal walked. He was erased in a double play. The Twins have had the leadoff batter aboard in each inning, and each of those has made it to second base. But in the first inning, Randall could go no farther than that, and now Forgione staying on second with 2 out. And Leas would like to do something to drive him around and give the Twins the lead.
If the fans are wondering, they see that beautiful sunshine. At this point right now, it's 57 degrees, Chuck.
Well, we've dropped 5 since game time, just as we were talking about. A little bit low for the ball. 3-2, the full count on Leas.
On the shores of beautiful Lake Michigan. It'll drill you.
A beautiful setting, though, here around this ballpark with all the trees. Foul ball beyond first base.
Oh, it's a beautiful ballpark. A lot of our fans from Illinois and Milwaukee and Racine area, they call it Little Wrigley Field because there's not a bad seat in the house, Chuck. You're right on the field, and it's just our grounds crew does a terrific job.
Sometime before the end of this ball game, in fact, maybe a couple times before the end of this ball game, we'll be able to see the commuter train go by past the outfield wall, right? That train, you know, it wouldn't be minor league ball unless that train would be going by.
Those are my no-shows. I count them all.
Full count was 2 out, bottom of 2. So the outside corner got him looking for the strikeout. So the last 2 go down on strikes facing Mangum. And in the inning, no runs on a base hit, no errors, and 1 left aboard. At the end of 2, we're scoreless. You're watching Kenosha Twins baseball on Jones Entertainment. We're scoreless. Springfield coming to bat leads the Southern Division of the Midwest League. It sounds like we're going to be having a geography lesson now. Well, there goes the train out in right field as we speak.
Count them, Chuck. There's 35 a car. 1, 2, 3. That's a 5 car. That's almost a 6 car. That's a couple, how about 150 no-shows right there. Beat your heart out, Lelanders.
Springfield leading the Southern Division by 6.5 ball games over the Peoria Chief, the farm club of the Chicago Cubs. Then the Burlington Expos down by 12.5, and the Quad City Angels with just a 16-39 record, trailing the Cardinals by 20 games. We'll be talking about the Central and the Northern divisions of the Midwest League as this ball game goes along. But now Bienvenido Figueroa. He goes by Bien. See the numbers on him. Brown at second base. The pickup, the throw, got him out number 1. So leading off the top of the third, Figueroa grounding out to Brown and quickly 1 down.
After Peoria taking us 4 in a row, and then now Springfield, I got to live with Lee Landers and Pete Banach and when I see him, because I'll never hear the end of this now. I'll tell you what, we'll come back, though, you guys, if you're listening. I know the Midwest League is a great league, but that's what's nice about it. It's really an evenly matched league this year, Chuck. It's going to be interesting to race this.
Alex Ojeda.
We definitely won't roll over.
Well, as I was saying before, you had come up here when you were doing your duties down on the field, first pitch for a strike. When you, as a team, can lose 7 in a row and 11 out of 13 and still be just a game and a half back, there's something positive to be said about that.
You betcha there is.
You know, if there's any silver lining inside of the gray cloud, that is it.
That's right. These are a fine young bunch of guys here, and they're going to win. We're going to come back.
1-1 pitch with 1 out. Inside, dancing out of the way, Ojeda. 6 foot, 165-pounder from Miami.
Cardinals are wearing out the Chicago Cubs in the last few series, too.
Nevada at third. Had to wait for that one. Quickly throws the first for 2 down. Well, you could just see Nevada waiting for that ball to come up out of the grass. He had a good spot for it. He had to keep charging, and then the grab and the throw and 2 down. John Murphy now playing in just his 4th ball game for the Springfield Cardinals. This will be his 8th at-bat for the year. No home runs, no runs batted in. He does have 1 hit, that a double. Now breaks his bat on this one to Nevada across the infield for the 3rd out. So again, 3 up and 3 down for the Springfield Cardinals. In the inning, no runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left aboard. At the end of 2.5 innings of play, we're still scoreless as you're watching Kenosha Twins baseball on Jones Intercable and Tempo Television. Some of the crowd here in the bottom of the 3rd inning. Scoreless, and for the Twins in the bottom of the 3rd, it'll be the bottom of the batting order, leading it off to number 9 hitter Jarvis Brown, then back up on top to Mike Randall and Rafael De Lima. Continuing on with our geography lesson of the Midwest League, taking a look at the Central Division. Cedar Rapids Reds atop that by just a half a ball game over the Clinton Giants. Then the Beloit Brewers 4 games behind in third place, and the Waterloo Indians 4.5 out of first. So that is the tightest of the 3 divisions of the Midwest League. And here, Jarvis Brown. And you know, you talk about geography. Why, here's a guy from right in the neighborhood. He went to St. Joseph High School in Kenosha and lives just down the road in Zion, Illinois.
Right. Jarvis having a little rough time getting it on track this season, so I'm sure he's he'd like to get about 3 for 4 games, about 6 in a row. Oh,
trying for the base hit bunt, sliding into first, but no.
Hey, you saw our Twin Bears having fun with the crowd, Chuck. The kids love our Twin Bears, that's for sure.
Back to the top of the batting order, Mike Randall, who singled back in the 1st inning.
It's nice televising the game from Kenosha, Wisconsin, Chuck. I mean, I hope all the fans enjoy the ball game. And
inside for the ball. Well, I gave him a geography lesson, Bob, as to where we were as far as where the lake is, Milwaukee and Kenosha and so on. But what is there in Kenosha that people around the nation might be familiar with?
Well, the biggest thing, as you've read in the papers of late, nationwide, Chrysler has purchased the American Motors Company, and we're now making the Chrysler 5th Avenue in Kenosha, and we're getting ready to produce the Omni Horizon. And for the first time in the last 4 or 5 years, the community is really on the upswing with people going back to work. In fact, they're going to add a 2nd shift at American Motors to build the Chrysler 5th Avenue. So we're really excited about the future of the city, and it is a great city and has a lot of potential going for it. And so we just want the fans to know that Kenosha's on the grow, and we've got a lot of good things coming up for us.
2-1 pitch. Lined in the right field for the base hit. Randall 2 for 2 tonight.
Tell you, he is hot, isn't he, Chuck?
Oh, Randall came in with a .322 batting average and have had a 4-game hitting streak going for him.
Everybody always asks me, well, how long do you think these guys are going to stay here, De Lima and Randall? I said, I hope for quite a while. We'd love to keep in contention with this team that we have here. And I know we're going to snap out of this slump we're in.
But you know, Randall, with his bat, this is the 50th game in which he's played, and he has hit now safely in 43 of the 50 ball games. Fair ball down the line. Randall didn't know it was fair, stopped at second base. Now he winds up on third base as De Lima winds up on second with a double. Randall made the turn at second base, stopped and looked around. Where am I? What's going on? Well, he finally made it over to third, as you can see. There he is, just 90 feet from home plate. And Rafael De Lima down on second base with a double, goes back to first to retrieve his hat. So the Twins, with one out, have a pair of runners in scoring position in this scoreless tie, and a little set two at home plate. Galen Pitts, the manager of the Springfield Cardinals, talking with home plate umpire Rich Patterson.
Chuck, I have to laugh because Galen, the last time on Temple television, he got the heave-ho. I says, Galen, you got to not do this again now, are you? He laughed. It was all in fun, of course, folks.
The Cardinal bullpen where that ball was hit. The two runners in scoring position nearer to us on third base is Mike Randall. Rafael De Lima hidden behind Don Leppard out on second base. This brings up Derek Parks. Last time grounded out to third. Remember, he's one of the leaders in the league. This ball gets away. This is going to score the run, and the Twins take the lead.
Just what I was talking about before, Chuck. You get a knuckleball pitcher and a guy on third. That catcher's job is just, it's a tough job. And it looks like an easy pitch coming at you to stop or block, but not so.
So that's scored as a passed ball, not a wild pitch, a passed ball, and Randall scores from third. Parks, as we say, the last time grounded out to third, and over at third is Rafael De Lima.
If Derek has a little patience, you'll see this ball fly.
High. 2-0.
Don Leppard, being a former big league catcher and a coach for many years in the big leagues, has really worked a lot with Derek, too, and his defense.
Foul ball. And now look at Leppard playing way behind the coach's box down there at third base.
I'm going to get him a chest protector before the game is over. He's going to need it down there.
Kenosha Twins with a 1-0 lead in the bottom of inning number 3. They have a run on 4 hits and a couple of pass balls. Springfield Cardinals, no runs without a base hit. This one off the foot of Parks on the foul ball.
You can't beat minor league baseball, Chuck. I'll tell you, I love it.
You know, give the fans around the nation an indication of minor league baseball and some of the prices involved. You can come out here, and I'm not saying that this is representative of every park, but it's not far from it. The box seats at Simmons Stadium, $3. The grandstand, $2. And there are so many promotion nights where you can get in for $1 off of this, $1 off of that. You know, your soup night, as an example, when you bring the can of food out here, you get $1 off any ticket in the house, you know?
Right.
Your interfaith day on Sundays where you bring your church bowls and get in for $1 off. Just minor league baseball. It's really great. That ball is in the air, but it's not going anywhere except straight up.
Wow.
Scott Raziano drifting over near the line, making the grab. Drawing the throw as he dashed off third was Rafael De Lima, but no go to the plate. 2 down now. De Lima stays at third. Raziano goes back to his position in left field, and this is Bob Timke, the first baseman. He grounded out his last time up, also to the third baseman, Melvin. That was back in the first inning, following Parks, who did the same thing. But the Twins have grabbed the lead here in the bottom of the third on the single, the double, and the passed ball.
You know, Chuck, we talk about minor league ball and people with Eric Davis, the great year he's having with Cincinnati.
Way outside the ball.
People don't realize he had 450 games in the minor leagues before he got to the big leagues. And that is fact. So those are the things, you know, these kids, they got to get a lot of at-bats and a lot of innings pitched and a lot of ball games behind them. There's a long way to go with the big leagues.
Outside corner, 1-1. 2 outs in the bottom of the third. The Twins with a 1-0 lead over the Springfield Cardinals. And the knuckleball. Foul ball in the parking lot behind the first base grandstand. Just got a note from Scott Pedersen, the Kenosha Twins statistician. Says Randall is now 5 for his last 6 at-bats and 9 for 20. That's 450 during this homestand. Ground ball to third. Across the infield. And for the second time in this ball game, Tinky grounds out to third, both times ending the inning. So in the bottom of the third, the Twins get a run on a pair of base hits. There was an error and 1 left aboard. And at the end of 3 complete innings of play, the Kenosha Twins have a 1-0 lead. You're watching Kenosha Twins baseball on Jones Intercable and Tempo Television. Inning number 4 right after this. Top of inning number 4, the Kenosha Twins on top of a 1-0 score for the Springfield Cardinals in the inning. It'll be the top of the batting order, the 1-2-3 hitters, Kindred, Bain, and Melvin leading it off.
Can't beat fun at the old ballpark.
Continuing our geography lesson about the Midwest League, going from south to north, we've taken care of the Southern Division and the Central Division. Appleton, the Foxes, a farm team of Kansas City, leads the Northern Division by a half a game over the Madison Muskies, a farm team of the A's. Then the Kenosha Twins, a game and a half behind, and the Wausau Timbers, a farm team of Seattle, trailing by 8 games. First pitch swinging, ground ball, foul. Galen Pitts with the pickup. So he and Leopard seeing duty in the coach's box at third.
Galen's a good manager, too. He was here last year, and he's doing a fine job. Of course, he's got a good ball club this year in first place, probably the best record at this point in the Midwest League. So doing a good job, Galen.
Short, Leas. First, the out. Leas with an arm at short, firing out Kindred.
A deep throw. Yeah, he did a nice job on that.
Kindred struck out back in the first inning, leads off the fourth with the ground ball to short, and will bring up Tom Bain, who grounded out to Jarvis Brown in inning number 1.
I'd like to mention that the Midwest League All-Star game is going to be in Wausau, Wisconsin this year, Chuck, and we're looking forward to going up with our good friends up in Wausau. They do a great job, and it's a beautiful little town, Midwest League. There's some great cities in the Midwest League. We're proud to be a part of it.
Yeah, indeed. John Thomas Bain goes by Tom. 6 foot, 180. Born in Culver City, California, now resides in Santa Ana. Last year played with Erie for the Cardinals. Batted .288 in 70 ball games. Lines one into left field, back off the wall. Randall chasing this one for the first hit for the Cardinals. Going into second base with a stand-up double, Tom Bain. His 14th double of the year, and that's the first base hit for the Springfield Cardinals and the first time that the Cards have had a runner in scoring position. So the first base hit given up by Heinle comes with 1 out in the 4th, and that is after he had faced the minimum number of hitters, 10 through the first 10. Now Scott Melvin.
He ripped that one good, Chuck. No doubt about it.
It's only the second base runner that the Cards had. They had a walk leading off the second inning. That Todd Zeal. Now Melvin. He grounded out the last time at bat to Jarvis Brown. Batting with 1 out in the top of the 4th. Inside for the ball as the Cardinals have the potential tying run on second base.
Well, you know, we've really had some ball games these last few weeks, the last 2 weeks especially, 4-3, 5-4. You know, it's been just tough baseball. We're in these ball games.
Nevada freezes the runner at second, fires the first 2 down. Melvin grounding out to Nevada. Bain still there on second base, and it'll bring up Todd Zeal. Zeal was the other base runner, as I mentioned before, as he drew the walk leading off the second base for the Cards.
Steady Eddie. Good ball player. You youngsters that are watching this ball game, good example of hustling, and he practices every day, never misses a day out here, having ground balls hit to him and working on his weaknesses just as more privately than on his strengths, which is the best thing I think a young ball player can do.
Foul ball on the right side, way out of play. Well, there's another one that you have to put on your accounting ledger as a loss.
That's right. Some lucky youngsters over there going through the grass, probably dodging snakes, looking for a foul ball.
There's Zeal, who walked his last time, huh? Springfield Cardinals and the Kenosha Twins from Simmons Stadium in Kenosha, Wisconsin. Chuck Person, Bob Lee with you. Ground ball into left field. This could tie the ball game. Bain around third. Randall, no throw to the plate. We're tied at 1 in the top of inning number 4. So the RBI single by Zeal, driving in Bain, ties this ball game up at 1, and it'll bring up Ron Johns as Randall goes back to his patrol in left field.
We're supposed to have a visit from C.B. Barnes up here one of these times, Chuck, the star of the Starman show, Adventure Series. Hope C.B. can make it.
Now Ron Johns. Strike on that first pitch.
CB's in town for the Just Say No Run Sunday, sponsored by the Optimist Club. I hope he makes up here. Should be good talking to him.
To third. go to second for the Force that time on Zeal for the third out of the inning. And in the inning, the tying run scores for the Springfield Cardinals. They did that on a pair of base hits. There were no errors, and the Cards left one aboard. So at the end of 3.5 innings of play, we're tied at 1 as you're watching Kenosha Twins baseball on Jones Intercable and Tempo Television. Down the end of left field down there, having a good time, and some of the fans behind them trying to say hi and get their attention. And indeed, every once in a while, oh, there, now you're talking about those kids chasing that ball. Hey, that looks like where my golf shots go. I'm familiar with that, I'll tell you right now. I'm going to find a couple of Titleists over there and probably a broken Wilson staff. Pretty good crowd on hand here tonight at Simmons Stadium.
Yeah, there is, and it's a little chilly here tonight. And, good turnout. Good turnout. People like to sit out in those bleachers on that first and third base side. It's amazing, but there are not many like to get behind home plate unless it's really hot.
Foul ball behind the grandstand at third. One of the problems here with minor league ball, you can park so close you can get your car hit on those foul balls.
Well, we're leading the National Association in broken windshields. Yeah. Our insurance has just cut us off 2 years ago.
Forgione, who had a hit the last time up. Fair ball. This is in the corner and right. Forgione on his way to second as the ball is picked up in the right field by Bain, and stopping on second base with Forgione's 7th double of the year, leading off inning number 4. So this is 2 innings now that Forgione has led off the inning, and each of the innings he's been on base. In the second inning, he singled, took second on the pass ball. Now he takes second on his own on the strength of his 7th double of the year. Edgar Nevada, owner of 5 home runs this season. As we mentioned the last time that he came aboard, with his 2 home runs last year, all season long. That one in the dirt, stopped beautifully by John Murphy. By Nevada, with that little extra power, he has the chance to pop one here, Bob.
Yes, he does. Yes, he does. I'll tell you, the addition of our organ music with organist Pete Ravel playing, it's really done a good job for us, Chuck, at the ballpark here. It really gets the fans into everything.
You know, the wind has died down a little bit now. It's coming in from right field, somewhat right down the right field line, but really doesn't going to have any effect in this ball game a heck of a lot. And I had mentioned to the Springfield Cardinals radio announcer before, when the wind was coming in, there's a ground ball to second base. Ojea over to first base. The out advances Forgione to third. So Nevada doing his job, hitting the ball to the right side, advancing Forgione where he can score from third on a fly ball to the outfield and give the Twins the lead if he can do so, as we're tied at 1. And this will bring up Jackus with 1 out. Mentioning about the wind blowing in, and I said, boy, there's not going to be any balls hit out of here. But quite frankly, as that wind has died down, I don't think nothing's going to keep it in the park if you hit it hard enough tonight.
The only thing, the air is a little heavy, Chuck, and that east wind is bringing us that Lake Michigan cooling effect. That's what's getting us right now, but not all that bad. But I don't think it has any effect as far as a home run.
You know, one of the things that we have to be aware of here at southeast Wisconsin, right on the banks of Lake Michigan practically, swing and a foul ball by Jackus 0-2, is fog.
Yes, yes.
We're so close to the lake that the lake has the effect of you know, the cool air off the lake and the warm air off the land producing that fog. And, well, you and I saw that one game last year when we were doing that televised ball game where we waited an hour and a half before it was finally called. Swing and a miss, and Jackus goes down on 3 pitches, and for the second time tonight, Jackus strikes out. In fact, he's the only player. No, there are 3 strikeouts now for Mangum.
Dave swung at a bad pitch there, and he knew it.
2 by Jackus, and now this player, Scott Leas, the other one to strike out. 2 down in the bottom of the 4th. We're tied at 1, but the Twins have the potential lead run over at third base in the person of Chris Forgione. Forgione led off the inning, doubling, and then took third base on the ground ball by Nevada.
Big Jim Lemon's in town, our minor league batting instructor. Hopefully straighten our hitting out. Does a good job working with our ball club. Good to have Jim aboard.
Mangum's pitch. Fly ball to center field. Kindred calling, camping, catching out number 3. So the leadoff double is wasted. And in the inning, no runs, a base hit, no errors, and 1 left aboard for the Kenosha Twins. We're at the end of 4, and we're tied at 1. Inning number 5 coming up as you are watching Kenosha Twins baseball on Jones Intercable and nationwide on Tempo Television. Well, the umpires conference breaks up there as they go to their positions on the bases and behind home plate. That's Rich Patterson, the umpire, coming behind home plate, and a couple fans don't care what's going on in the ball diamond. I'll tell you, romance in bloom. Here's the totals as we enter inning number 5 for the Springfield Cardinals. A run on 2 hits. They've committed an error, and they left 1 on board. For the Kenosha Twins, a run on 5 hits. They have not committed an error, but the Twins have left 1 aboard in each of the first 4 innings. Scott Raziano, Bain, Figueroa, and Alex Ojea will be the first 3 in the top of 5 for Springfield. A fast-moving ball game.
Very fast. Got a note here.
Strike on the first one.
Got a note here from Scott Patterson. Chuck Heinley pitched against Springfield last Thursday in relief and picked up the win in a 97 Twins victory. 4 2/3 innings, 5 hits, and no runs, no walks, and 3 strikeouts. So Dan has done a pretty good job against Springfield.
Raziano, formerly in the Montreal organization, lofts a fly into center field. Jack is coming in to his right and making the grab for out number 1. Raziano flying out to lead off the top of the 5th.
I don't know. This game's going fast, Chuck. There goes my concessions. That's all I can say.
Well, there'll be enough left over for you and me, though, when the ball game is done.
Now, maybe I better get my clicker out and put another bank of lights out like I did the other night for a half hour. That's an old trick that my old buddy down here in Springfield, what's his name, taught me? Lee Landers? Yeah, I think I know him.
Outside for the ball to Figueroa. 6'2", 190-pounder facing this man, Dana Heinley, on the mound for the Twins. Foul ball as he swings at a pitch way outside and knocks this one behind the grandstand on the first base side.
Oh, we got a welcome guest in the booth here, C.B. Barnes.
CB?
Good to have you.
Good to see you. How are you?
Welcome to Kenosha.
We'll have a little conversation with CB in the inning when the Twins come to bat after the Springfield Cardinals go down. Base hit into the right field. So Figueroa, and this ball gets away from De Lima, and the throw into second base, and he's in there. So they're going to give him credit for the single, Figueroa, and then he takes second base as the ball was bobbled. So a runner on second base in scoring position for the Cardinals, the potential lead run. This will bring up Alex Ojea. C.B. Barnes in the booth, and we'll get a chance to talk with him in just a few minutes.
Yeah, stick around here, and we'll get you down. You can do a little commentating here and be my color man here with Chuck.
If you don't mind saying a couple words after... Okay, we'll talk to you in just a little while. Swing and a miss. Ojea, the first pitch, 0-1.
With my good friend Pat Callahan, who's doing a great job on the Just Say No run and then Just Say No group with the Optimist Club.
Just a little bit outside. Ojea, the batter. A .294 batting average, but his strength, to tell you the truth, is in defense. He led the South Atlantic League second baseman last year, the fielding percentage of .974. Also led the league in most games, 125, most chances, 680, most putouts, 307. Most double plays, 105. Ground ball on the right side. Jarvis Brown, nice pickup going to his left. Throwing out Ojea for the second out of the inning, and on the play, Bain Figueroa goes over to third base. So Jarvis Brown, Bob, making a nice play going to his left. There's Jarvis Brown, the second baseman for the Kenosha Twins. Stepping up, John Murphy, the bottom of the batting order. Over on third base for Murphy and the Cardinals is Figueroa with 2 down. We're tied at 1. We're in the top of 5. Murphy grounded out his last time at bat to the third baseman, Nevada.
Dana's got his work cut out here with that winning run.
Ooh, hit him on the elbow.
Hit him. Back to third there, young man.
So Murphy hit by the pitch. Takes first base. Runners on the corners now for the Springfield Cardinals. Murphy on first. Figueroa over on third base. There he goes back to his position on third. the lead run 90 feet away from home. We'll go back to the top of the batting order, Vince Kindred. Kindred, the only strikeout victim so far for Dana Heinle. He struck out as the first man to bat in the ball game, then last time grounded out to short. And the pitch. Ground ball to third. Nevada has to throw hard, does, gets them, and the Twins get out of the inning.
Nice play, Edgar.
In the inning, no runs. There was a base hit, no errors, and a pair left aboard. So halfway through inning number 5, as we're halfway through the ball game, we're scoreless. You're watching Kenosha Twins baseball on Jones Intercable and Tempo Television nationwide. Well, to those of you watching in Kenosha and those of you watching nationwide on Tempo Television, Chuck Person, I have a new color commentator with me starting off the bottom of the 5th, C.B. Barnes, the star of Starman. And C.B., nice to have you with us here in Kenosha. All right, now I'm going to leave and you take over. The ball game's all yours.
Oh, I'm lost.
It's Jarvis Brown, the bottom of the batting order, leading off the bottom of the 5th with Mike Randall and Rafael De Lima to follow. First pitch a little bit high on the knuckleball for the ball, 1-0. Tell us a little bit about Starman and how's it going.
Well, Starman, if some of you might know, is a series about an extraterrestrial that comes back to raise his son.
For the out, 1 down.
14 years after he was here for 3 days, and I'm the product of that 3 days. And we've been going for a while now, and it's fun. We're having a lot of fun.
Well, to me, you look practically human, I'll say that.
Almost half, at least.
How did you get the role? Tough auditions, a lot of people?
Yeah.
Or?
Yeah, I was in New York. I grew up in New York, and I auditioned in New York. And that was a tough one.
What's your background in stage?
Well, I was born and raised in Maine, actually, and I lived there for 8 years. And then I got involved in acting professionally in New York. And I really took off from there, and that's when my career really started.
What are some of the roles that you've played?
See, I was in As-Roll Turns for a while, for about a year, and Starman is really the main thing that people have seen me in.
2-0 pitch. Randall, who's 2 for 2 tonight and scored the only run for the Twins, batting now with 1 out in the bottom of the 5th. Both the pitchers have gone all the way. Here's Mark Mangum. Dana Heinle has been doing the same for the Kenosha Twins. 3-0 pitch on the way. The old automatic 3-1. Being a speech and theater grad, why, everything that you tell me, I have a little bit of understanding what you are and have gone through.
I just got here. How are we doing?
Well, if you're saying the Kenosha Twins, are tied, but Randall, for the 3rd time in the ballgame, is aboard. Singled in the 1st, singled in the 3rd, now walking in the 5th. He represents the potential lead run over there on first base for Rafael De Lima, who doubled his last time at bat. So what are you in Kenosha for? I understand to be a part of the anti-drug run.
Yeah, I've been doing the anti-drug, been involved in the Just Say No Association for a while now. And I've been touring all over the country doing that. And here I'm doing the thing with the Optimist Club. And we're having a rally, an anti-drug rally, on Sunday at the University of Wisconsin Parkside.
Parkside,
yeah,
right.
Yeah,
beautiful facility to run.
Yeah.
It's in a place, have you seen it over
no,
there? Like being
I just
here
got
just
here.
an hour, yeah. when you look around here and see all the trees, that's the setting that it's in, and you'll be running through this beautiful park-like setting. Oh, it's just outstanding. It's just a wonderful place.
Well, I'm going to be there, and there are going to be some athletes there. I'm not really quite sure who, but we'd love anybody to come there. It's on Sunday, and just show up. We'll have a lot of fun. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Another throw over to first base, holding Randall over there. Randall stole second base. Foul ball on the left side. You know, as you're here and promoting the anti-drug movement, and this game being on national television, on the minor league game of the week on Tempo Television, what would be a message that you could give to young people nationwide?
Don't do it.
Ball in the air to left field. This ball is going deep. Raziano going back, making the grab. Having gone around second base, Randall has to go back to first with 2 out. Boy, Randall had gone a long way in anticipation of that ball going ahead of Raziano, over the head of Raziano. Raziano up to the challenge, back to the warning track just about. Pulled it in as the ball was knocked down in the heavy air. And Randall had to hustle back to first faster than he got around second base. So De Lima flying out to left for the second out of the inning. This will bring up Derek Parks, the Twins' power hitter. And the pitch. A little bit high for the ball. Continuing on, CB, with your message.
Yeah, I would just say don't do it. You know, say yes to life by saying no to drugs. It's important. And you do drugs, you're going to screw up your life. And that's very important.
This ball is deep. This ball is in left. Holy smokes, the Twins have another one. Derek Parks is 15th home run of the year. Make that his 14th home run of the year. Now leads the Midwest League in round trippers. And the Twins have a 2-run lead at 3-1. Holy socks, Derek Parks. Mike Randall scoring in front of Derek Parks. The Twins take a 3-1 lead, and for Parks, his 14th home run of the year, his 42nd and 43rd runs batted in. He takes the lead in the league in home runs, and it brings up Bob Tinkey, who has 8 home runs on his own. Outside, 2-0. Well, you asked how the Twins were doing. Now you see.
Well, I guess I showed up just in time.
Absolutely. Don't leave.
No. Quite a shot.
Well, he's known for that. And the pitch. In the dirt. 3-0. Bob Tinkey batting with 2 outs and 2 runs, having scored for the Twins in the bottom of the 5th on the strength of the 2-run home run by Derek Parks. 3-0 pitch on the way. The old automatic 3-1. Chuck Purse and C.B. Barnes in the booth with you from Simmons Stadium in Kenosha, Wisconsin. And the pitch, 3-1. The base on balls. That's the first walk given up by Mark Mangum against 3 strikeouts. And this will bring up Chris Forgione. You know, we talk about Parks and all of his home runs, but Scott Pedersen hands me a note telling me that's his first home run in this ballpark since the 9th of May, practically a month since Parks' last Park 1 out of Simmons Stadium. Oh, I couldn't resist getting that one in. Park 1 out of the park. Conference on the mound as Galen Pitts had gone out there to talk with Mark Mangum. Just wanted to settle him down. You could see that he had lost it, just for a few seconds there after the home run, walking Tinkey. Pitcher warming up for the Cardinals in the right field bullpen. This will bring up Chris Forgione. How did you get involved, CB, in the anti-drug movement?
Well, being from New York, I grew up in New York, and I went to all the public schools, and I've seen what drugs can do.
I'll bet you have.
I really have. And it's very important to me that it stops, because it's so unnecessary. It's such a waste. And I just think that something should be done about it. And so I investigated what I could do about it.
Ground ball, foul ball, pass first. Well, I've seen around this part of the United States, and in fact, I've made a couple anti-drug public service announcements myself, one aimed at youth and one aimed at parents of youth to get youth to stop and parents to be aware. I've seen sort of a groundswell here anti-drug. Now, you've gone nationwide. Have you seen similar things?
Yeah, I really have. I've seen everybody really getting involved.
Way outside.
Because everyone's starting to realize the importance of it. That everyone's starting to get interested because it's such a problem. And that makes me feel good that everyone's starting to become aware.
There's a runner on first for the Twins. There are 2 outs, and 2 runs have scored in the bottom of the 5th. And the Twins have a 3-1 lead. Mangum with the pitch. Ooh, Forgione was tempted, wasn't he, that time? 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, 22 at bat. If you look at the scoreboard, it would be easy to say deuces are wild. 5 deuces right across the top of the scoreboard. And the pitch, swing and a miss, and Forgione goes down on strikes for the first time tonight after he had 2 safeties in his first 2 trips at bat. But in the inning, a big one for the Kenosha Twins as they had 2 runs on a base hit. The big home run by Derek Parks. No errors, and they left 1 aboard. Halfway through the 5th, the Twins by 2. We'll be back with the 6th inning as you are watching Kenosha Twins baseball on Jones Intercable.